Hello everyone and welcome to day 56. Today is our second active recovery and grow day, so get your 30 minutes of mild to moderate activity in, get your meals in, get your stretching in, and recover and grow. We've got another week of workouts ahead. In today's video, I wanted to cover my answer to a discussion that popped up in the gym the other day, and that was what are the most neglected muscle groups that I see in gyms nowadays. So, as an experienced bodybuilder and coach, it happens for me whenever I'm just glancing around the gym that I'm evaluating different people's exercises and physiques. Not necessarily judging or anything like that, but just looking at it with a studious eye, seeing what exercises they're doing, how their form looks, and what the physiques look like, and being able to match all of that up. So, based off of my 10 years of experience of doing this in the gym, of coaching and bodybuilding, here are in order my top 5 most neglected muscle groups. We'll start with the fifth and work our way down to number 1, the most neglected. Number 5 is going to be triceps. This has gotten a little bit better over the past few years that I've noticed, where people are starting to pay more attention to their triceps, but they're still typically neglected a little bit because when everybody thinks arm training, especially as a newbie, they think biceps, whereas your triceps actually make up 2/3 of the mass on your upper arm. Everybody thinks of the bicep pose and flex, so they instantly go to a variety of curls to try and build massive arms. Now, obviously, biceps are important, but if you're doing 2/3 of your exercises for biceps, your triceps are going to lag behind. You should actually be doing more volume and more exercises for your triceps to get them to respond, as a study has shown that tricep muscles actually respond better to higher volume compared to biceps. This is also why, if I'm training biceps and triceps in the same workout, I tend to train triceps first, or if I'm supersetting, I'll do a tricep exercise before my bicep exercise. Number 4 is going to be hamstrings. Now, I was guilty of this early on, and I see it all the time in the gym. People train legs, they think quads. They do their squats in a quad specific way, their leg presses in a quad specific way, and they'll do 2 different types of leg extension exercises and perhaps throw in a few sets of leg curls at the end of the workout. In order to get fully developed, perfectly proportional legs, you have to train them equally and get balance between the hamstrings and quads. I've actually found much better leg development, growth, and a much better look to my legs when I started prioritizing my hamstrings and training them first in the workout before moving on to quads. For example, pick 2 hamstring focused exercises first, such as a leg curl movement and then a Romanian deadlift movement, so that you're training in both the contracted and stretched position on the hamstrings before moving on to 2 or 3 quad based movements. This will dramatically improve your legs if you have lagging hamstrings. Number 3 is going to be forearms. The reason it's here on this list is because forearms are hit as a secondary muscle group in curling exercises and obviously heavy deadlifts, shrugs, and bent over rows as well. I also see a lot of people doing hammer curls in the gym, so you are hitting your forearms with that movement. However, I've noticed the best development and gains bringing my forearms up to match my upper arms when I include some forms of wrist curl as well in the movement. My forearms used to lag dramatically behind my upper arms until I started including wrist curl movements first in my arm training before moving on to triceps and then to biceps. Now I've got my forearms up to where I want them. I still include a forearm exercise in every workout. I just don't need to prioritize it as early on in the workout. So if you are looking to build up your forearms, I highly encourage you to include some sort of wrist curl movement in your routine. Number 2 is going to be calves. This is not so much a neglect issue of lack of training them, but of lack of training them properly. Three major mistakes I see made every time I'm in the gym is one, going way too fast and bouncy on the repetitions, where all of the tension is going to be on the Achilles tendon rather than the actual calf muscle, and using terrible range of motion throughout the exercise. Another mistake that I see made is people training calves at the very end of a leg workout where their central nervous system and body is already completely fatigued and exhausted from a long workout. They're only able to bounce through a few sets of calf raises before they're ready to go home, not giving any real focus onto the calves. And the last major mistake I see with calf training is people don't focus on progressive overloading and getting a great mind muscle connection there as they do on their quads and hamstrings. I recommend if you're looking to bring up your calves to train calves first in the leg workout. That's what I've done for the past couple of years, and my calves have responded tremendously. This can also serve as kind of a warm up for your central nervous system and your legs before moving on to the hamstring and quad exercises. Always go nice and slow so you can feel every inch of every repetition and use a full range of motion, getting a complete stretch and a complete contraction to where you get to the very top. You even go up another inch from what you think is the top to really maximize and peak out that contraction. And of course, also focus on progressively overloading with the calves just as you would with any other muscle group. And number one is going to be the rear deltoids or posterior deltoids, the back of the shoulder. This one I still see all the time in the gym where people's shoulder workouts are focused on 3 different kinds of shoulder presses and maybe a set or 2 of different lateral raises while completely neglecting the rear delts. I highly recommend starting off your shoulder workout with rear delt movement, as not only does this focus on your rear delts and getting them to come up from lagging behind, but it also stretches out and warms up the entire shoulder area. And ever since I've started doing this, I used to have rotator cuff and shoulder problems. They've completely gone away since I started prioritizing rear delts and establishing balance between the front and back part of my shoulder. Let's say you're doing 5 exercises in your shoulder workout and you're a higher volume trainer. I would recommend picking 2 of those exercises to be for rear delts, 2 of those exercises to be for side delts, and 1 of those exercises to be a compound shoulder press movement where you focus on progressively overloading. Rear delts are obviously essential for bodybuilding so that your shoulders don't disappear when you turn from the side, but they're also essential in real life as almost all of modern day movement occurs to the front of the body, such as holding onto a steering wheel while driving, texting, typing on a computer, eating. Everything is reaching to the front and using those front shoulders without any sort of pulling and focus on the rear deltoids. So it's vital to train your rear deltoids to keep the shoulders in good posture the entire time and minimize shoulder issues. So those are the top 5 most neglected muscles that I see in the gym. If you find yourself in one of these categories, you can use the tips that I provided to correct that. Or if you think I missed a muscle group that you see neglected all the time in the gym, feel free to comment down below. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your grow day, and I will see you in tomorrow's video for a workout.